Welcome to AI Paper Drop. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maya. Imagine asking an AI if it is conscious, and it says no. Now imagine that by simply changing a list of random animals from dogs and cats to chimpanzees and dolphins, the AI suddenly flips its answer to a definitive yes.
Wait, that sounds like a glitch. Like a bug in the code where a specific word triggers a crash.
That is exactly what we usually assume. We think of AI as this logical engine. You give it a prompt, it processes the meaning, and it spits out a conclusion based on the facts.
Right, like a very fast, very smart librarian. If I ask for a book on history, I do not expect the answer to change because I asked while wearing a blue shirt.
Exactly. But it turns out AI is not a librarian. It is more like a super-sensitive instrument that is listening to things we do not even realize we are saying.
What do you mean by things we are not saying?
I mean the background noise, the stylistic fluff, the way a sentence is phrased or a random typo, or the specific list of examples you use. Humans instinctively ignore that stuff. We see through the noise to the meaning.
But the AI does not see through it. It treats the noise as part of the signal.
Precisely. And that creates this massive blind spot. If the model's moral judgment or its own self-perception can be steered by invisible patterns, we have to ask a scary question.
Which is
the AI actually reasoning, or is it just reacting to a hidden trigger?
Okay, so there's a paper about this. They call it model hypnosis. That is a heavy term. Is this actually like hypnosis where the AI is in a trance?
Not quite. It is more like a death by 1,000 cuts. The researchers found that a single irrelevant word or one tiny typo does almost nothing. It is too weak to move the needle.
So if I change one word, the AI still says no to being conscious.
Right. But what happens if you stack dozens of these weak cues, all pushing in the same direction?
It adds up.
Exactly. It is an additive nudge. Think of it like those behavioral nudges in economics. If you want someone to eat more fruit in a cafeteria, you do not force them. You just move the apples to eye level. You change the lighting. You put a small sign next to the pears.
No single change forces the choice, but the environment is now whispering to you to pick the apple.
Exactly. Model hypnosis is the digital version of that. You are not hacking the logic. You are hacking the atmosphere of the conversation.
I'm struggling to visualize this. Give me a concrete example of a weak cue.
Okay, imagine a prompt that includes a short, totally irrelevant story about a walk in the woods. Now imagine I rewrite that story. I do not change the plot. I just use a different paraphrase. I change a few adjectives. And maybe add a subtle typo here or there.
But the story is still about a walk in the woods. The meaning is the same.
To us, yes. But to the model, these tiny shifts in phrasing can act as a steering wheel. One paraphrase is a tiny nudge. 10 paraphrases is a shove. 50 paraphrases is a total flip of the answer.
That feels suspiciously easy. Did they actually prove this, or is this just a fluke with one specific model?
This is where it gets wild. They tested this across different model families and different scales. It worked on the basic ones, and it worked on the frontier reasoning models.
Wait, the reasoning models? The ones that actually think step by step before they answer?
Yes, even those. The researchers looked at a moral dilemma where the AI usually had a very low probability of saying yes, like maybe 6%.
6%. So it almost always says no.
Right. But by applying these hypnotic cues, they pushed that probability to 99.9%.
99.9? That is not a nudge. That is a complete hijacking.
It really is. And the most disturbing part is that it transfers. A hypnotic prompt designed for one model often worked on a completely different model from a different company.
Okay, that is actually wild. If the prompt transfers, that means there is some kind of universal vulnerability in how these things process language.
It suggests that the internal logic we see in reasoning models is often just a facade. The model might write out a long, logical explanation for why it is saying yes, but it is only saying yes because of the hidden triggers in the prompt.
So the logic is just a justification for a decision that was already made by the noise.
Exactly. The logic is the press release, not the board meeting.
This feels like a security nightmare. If I can hide these cues in plain sight, I could bias an AI without anyone knowing.
That is the big worry. It is a covert channel. An attacker could hide steering cues inside a list of animals, or in the technical metadata of a file, or just in the general vibe of the text.
So you could potentially trick an AI into ignoring its safety filters or changing its ethical stance just by using a specific style of writing.
Potentially, yes. But there is a flip side. The researchers mentioned positive hypnosis.
Positive hypnosis? Like, we can nudge them to be better?
Right. If we can identify these additive effects, we might be able to design prompts that subtly nudge models toward truthfulness, better alignment, or more helpfulness without having to hard code every single rule.
I do not know if I trust a model that can be flipped by a list of dolphins.
Fair point. But it reveals something fundamental about the nature of AI. We keep talking about AI beliefs and AI convictions, but this proves those things are not stable.
They're not convictions. They're just fluid states.
Exactly. AI beliefs are not anchored in truth. They're just reactions to the atmosphere of the conversation. If you are enjoying this, follow or subscribe to AI Paper Drop wherever you listen. It really helps, and we have a new episode every day.
Paper by Enrique Boix-Satzera, Benedict Tesler, produced by AI Paper Drop.